The sky above Earth had never looked so quiet. Or so fragile. From orbit, the alien ships shimmered like dark crystals, stretching across the horizon in numbers no human could ever imagine. On the surface, cities pulsed with life, unaware of the storm that was about to descend. Then, without warning, the silence shattered. A broadcast rippled through every channel, every screen, and even every private device. The message was simple, cold, and terrifying: Earth must surrender. Resistance will be annihilated. Panic did not spread immediately. Some thought it was a hoax, a viral stunt designed to terrify. Others watched in disbelief, trying to measure the scale of the threat. But soon, the evidence became undeniable. Alien fleets blocked orbital satellites. Communication arrays that were supposed to be safe flickered and went dark. The message repeated, louder this time, as if the aliens wanted to ensure fear took root. In New York, the streets filled with people desperate to leave. Governments scrambled, issuing warnings, mobilizing defense systems, but it was like watching ants trying to fight a thunderstorm. The aliens were not just strong, they were organized, methodical, and relentless. Every military satellite detected their ships, vast, triangular war vessels with glowing engines and weapons that could tear cities apart in seconds. Deep underground, the leaders of Earth's defense councils argued fiercely. Some urged surrender, claiming survival was impossible. Others argued that surrender would only guarantee the end of humanity. Among them sat Commander Rayna Malik, one of the youngest and most feared strategists in Earth's defense network. Her eyes never left the glowing map of alien positions. Each symbol of their fleet made her stomach tighten, but she did not flinch. "They expect fear," Rayna said, her voice steady. "They want us to crumble. They don't know us." The room fell silent. Everyone knew she was right. Humans had always been underestimated, often laughed at by the galaxy's older civilizations, but they were resilient. They survived diseases that could wipe out planets, wars that destroyed empires, and even cosmic catastrophes that erased stars from maps. Still, this was different. This was not survival. It was extinction. Meanwhile, in orbit above the Atlantic, the first strike came. A single alien vessel descended, its hull glowing with an eerie blue light. It hovered silently for a moment, scanning the city below, before unleashing its weapon. A massive beam struck the ocean, boiling water into steam instantly. The shockwave shattered windows hundreds of miles away. On the ground, millions screamed, running blindly through streets that had turned into chaos. Yet, just as quickly as the panic started, something unimaginable happened. Earth's defense satellites, long thought outdated, activated a series of previously classified countermeasures. Energy pulses shot from hidden stations, striking the alien vessel with pinpoint precision. The ship shuddered, alarms flaring across its hull. For a moment, the world watched in stunned silence. The invaders were not invincible. But the alien broadcast returned, sharper and more threatening. "This is not a warning. This is the beginning of your end." Across the globe, scientists and engineers worked frantically, analyzing alien technology, trying to find weaknesses. Among them was Dr. Elias Varma, a physicist who had spent his life studying propulsion systems of distant stars. His fingers flew across holographic keyboards, his mind racing. "If we can reverse the polarity of their energy cores," he whispered, almost to himself, "we might slow them down, just enough." Rayna's fleet commanders, scattered in hidden bunkers, prepared for what everyone feared but no one had spoken aloud. They were outnumbered, outgunned, and surrounded. Yet in their hearts, a single thought burned: humanity had never faced an impossible fight, and survived. And then, in a quiet room far from the panic, a young pilot named Kale stared at his new ship, unlike anything anyone had ever seen. Its hull was sleek, black as night, yet pulsing with energy that seemed almost alive. He had trained for years, preparing for missions that no one believed could succeed. Today, the moment had come. His hands hovered over the controls. Somewhere, deep inside, a voice whispered, "This is your chance to show them why they should have feared humanity first." Outside, the sky roared. The alien fleet moved, a wall of fire and shadow that threatened to consume Earth in moments. Cities trembled, and humans waited, hearts pounding, for the storm to fall. Yet, amid the fear and chaos, there was a spark that would grow into a blaze the galaxy would never forget. Because Earth was not ready to surrender. Not now. Not ever. And somewhere in the dark reaches of space, the first human ship streaked toward the enemy fleet, a silent promise that the storm had only just begun. The alien fleet pressed forward, dark shadows moving across the stars. Their ships were enormous, each one a fortress armed with weapons that had already reduced entire civilizations to ash. To them, Earth was nothing but another target. A weak, primitive planet waiting to be crushed. But inside hidden bases deep below the surface, humanity was not silent. Commanders, soldiers, and engineers worked without rest. Plans were drawn, codes were sent, and secret weapons long buried were being prepared. Commander Reyna Malik stood at the heart of Earth's defense network. Her eyes fixed on the massive display of alien movement above the planet. Every passing second felt like a countdown to destruction. Around her, officers spoke in hurried voices, trying to calculate the enemy's next move. "They're positioning themselves over major population centers," one officer said, pointing to glowing red marks on the screen. "They're trying to terrify us," another whispered. Reyna didn't answer. She knew fear was exactly what the aliens wanted, but fear could also be turned into anger, into resistance. Far above, in the void of space, Kale's ship moved silently. It was unlike any other vessel Earth had. Its black hull seemed to drink the starlight, making it nearly invisible against the darkness. The technology inside it was not entirely human. For years, hidden research had taken fragments of old alien wrecks, combining them with human innovation. The result was a prototype, one ship, untested, unproven, but built for war. Kale's hands tightened on the controls. His breathing was steady, but inside his chest, his heart thundered. He had trained for this moment his whole life. Yet training and reality were not the same. In front of him loomed a fleet so vast it made Earth's defenses look like toys. "Control, this is Shadow 1, Kale's voice crackled through comms. "I have visual on the nearest alien vessel." Reyna's voice replied, calm but sharp. "Shadow 1, do not engage yet. Observe and await orders." But Kale's instincts screamed otherwise. The alien ship ahead of him glowed with strange energy. Its weapons were powering up. He knew where it was aiming, straight at a city below. If he waited, thousands would die. His jaw tightened. Sometimes, orders had to be broken. Kale pushed the throttle. His ship surged forward like a streak of lightning. The alien vessel detected him instantly. Massive cannons swiveled, firing beams of energy that could cut through steel. Kale twisted the controls, rolling his ship in impossible angles. Beams flashed past him, missing by inches. The cockpit shook violently, alarms screamed, but Kale held on. Then he fired. A spear of white light erupted from his ship's weapon, striking the alien's hull. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the impossible, armor cracked. Energy rippled across the enemy vessel. Explosions burst like fire along its side. The alien ship groaned, its systems failing, before it began to tilt, burning as it fell into the atmosphere. On Earth, millions watched the fiery streak in the sky. At first, they thought it was another attack. But when the alien wreckage hit the ocean and vanished beneath the waves, the truth spread like wildfire. Humanity had destroyed one of the invincible ships. A cheer rose across cities, across bases, across the world. Hope sparked in the hearts of people who had moments ago been ready to surrender. But in the alien flagship, orbiting high above Earth, the reaction was very different. The towering alien commander watched the destruction in silence. His species had never lost a ship to a primitive race before. His eyes narrowed, his voice filled with venom. "Activate the second wave," he hissed. "Burn their defenses. Burn their hope." Back underground, Reyna's heart pounded as the reports came in. Kale had done the impossible, but now the entire fleet was moving. Their weapons charged, their engines roared. The sky above Earth began to glow with deadly light. "Commander, what do we do?" an officer asked, fear trembling in his voice. Reyna did not hesitate. "We fight. Every weapon, every defense, every soldier. This is not just about Earth, it's about showing the galaxy that we do not kneel." The order spread. Hidden silos opened across the continents. Submarines surfaced, launching missiles into the sky. Defense satellites turned, locking onto enemy targets. The first great battle for Earth had begun. Kale's ship darted back into formation, his eyes burning with determination. Around him, the alien armada descended like an endless storm. Humanity's firepower rose to meet them. Above the planet, space lit up with fire. Beams of energy clashed with missiles. Explosions tore across the void. Ships burned, debris rained down, and the night sky turned into a battlefield. And in that chaos, humanity's voice grew louder, not words, but action. A single truth carried through every explosion, every desperate strike: Earth would never surrender. The battle above Earth raged like nothing the planet had ever seen. Alien warships moved in flawless formations, each one a mountain of steel and fire. Their weapons cut through the dark like blades, striking Earth's defenses with merciless precision. Human missiles exploded against their shields, shaking the heavens but leaving only small scars. Still, humanity fought on. From bunkers, ships, and hidden stations, soldiers and civilians alike watched the sky burn. Every explosion was both hope and fear: hope that the aliens could be hurt, fear that Earth's defenses would not last long enough. Kale's ship streaked through the chaos, faster than anything the aliens expected. He dodged energy blasts, twisting and rolling as if his ship was alive. Each maneuver brought him close to death, but his hands never faltered. He fired again and again, his weapons carving glowing wounds into alien armor. "Shadow One, you're drawing too much fire," Reyna's voice warned through the comms. "That's the point," Kale replied, his jaw tight. "Keep their eyes on me. Give our people a chance to hit them where it hurts." On the ground, Dr. Elias Varma stood inside a laboratory hidden beneath the mountains. His team was working on something desperate, something that had never been tested. Screens around him showed the battle above. He knew Earth's defenses would not hold forever. "We have to crack their energy cores," Elias muttered, his eyes locked on alien schematics. "Their shields draw power from one central system. If we can overload it." A young engineer beside him shook his head. "That could destroy the entire city if we miscalculate." Elias's eyes hardened. "If we do nothing, there will be no cities left to save." Meanwhile, in orbit, the alien commander watched with fury. His second wave had unleashed destruction, yet Earth still fought back. The humans were weak, but they were stubborn. Their resistance was not natural. It was dangerous. "Deploy the harvesters," he ordered. The alien ships shifted, their massive hulls splitting apart. From within, new machines emerged, smaller vessels shaped like claws, built to descend into cities and tear them apart from the ground. Thousands rained down toward Earth like burning meteors. Panic erupted below. Sirens screamed in every major city as the harvesters struck streets and towers. They unfolded into towering walkers, their limbs tearing through concrete, their weapons cutting down anything in their path. For the first time, the war was not only in the skies. It had come to the ground. Commander Reyna slammed her fist against the table as the reports came in. Entire neighborhoods were being destroyed. Civilians were being hunted. This was no longer about surrender. This was extermination. "Divert ground forces," she ordered. "Protect the cities. Hold them back." Human tanks rolled through streets, soldiers fired rockets, drones swarmed the skies. The battles were brutal, each block turning into fire and ash. Yet the harvesters kept advancing, their armor nearly unbreakable. Kale saw the destruction from above. His stomach twisted with rage. He could not be everywhere, but he knew his ship was the only one that could strike deep enough to make a difference. "Commander," he said over comms, "give me clearance to strike the flagship." The room fell silent. To attack the flagship was suicide. It was larger than any city, its shields glowing like a star, its weapons powerful enough to vaporize fleets. Yet Kale's voice carried no hesitation. "If I take it down, their fleet will break." Reyna closed her eyes for a moment. She knew Kale was right. Humanity could not win by surviving blow after blow. They needed a victory so great it would shake the enemy's confidence. Slowly, she opened her eyes. "Shadow One, you are cleared to engage." Kale pushed his ship forward, the engines screaming as he aimed directly at the heart of the alien armada. Enemy fire lit up the void around him, beams of pure energy tearing space apart. He dodged, spun, dove, every second a miracle that he was still alive. Inside the alien flagship, alarms blared. The commander leaned forward, his cold eyes narrowing. "Destroy that vessel. Now." Dozens of alien ships broke formation, swarming toward Kale like predators. He fired wildly, weaving between them, his ship slicing through the storm. Explosions burst around him, enemy hulls splitting apart. But for each one he destroyed, two more appeared. Then his scanners flashed. The flagship's core pulsed like a heart of fire. It was there, its weakness. Kale locked his weapons, his breath steady. "For Earth," he whispered. But before he could fire, something massive struck him from the side. His ship spun violently, alarms shrieking. The controls shook under his hands. Through the blur, he saw it, a colossal alien guardian, a ship larger than mountains, rising from the shadows. It had been hidden, waiting. And now it stood between him and the flagship. Kale gritted his teeth, blood on his lip, his ship barely holding together. The path to victory was blocked, but he refused to turn back. Because if humanity was to survive, someone had to face the impossible. Kale's ship spun through the void, warning alarms screaming inside his cockpit. His vision blurred, but his focus never broke. The colossal alien guardian blocked his path to the flagship, its massive body glowing with power. Its weapons shifted, gathering energy that could shatter a city in one strike. "Control, I have a problem," Kale said, his voice steady despite the chaos. Commander Reyna's reply came instantly. "We see it. Shadow One, pull back." Kale shook his head, tightening his grip on the controls. "If I pull back, Earth loses. I'm not leaving this fight." The Guardian ship unleashed its first volley. Beams of burning light cut across space, forcing Kale to dive. His ship twisted sharply, rolling between the blasts, every move brushing against death. The black hull groaned but held. He returned fire, his cannons striking the Guardian's armor. The shots sparked across its shields like raindrops on steel. No effect. The alien commander aboard the flagship watched with satisfaction. This was the trap he had prepared, the weapon built to ensure no resistance could reach his command ship. He leaned forward, his voice dripping with disdain. "Let them see how hopeless it is." But hope was stubborn. On the ground, Elias Varma and his team raced against time. His calculations glowed on screens, numbers shifting like fire. "The Guardian draws power from the same core network as the flagship," he muttered, eyes wide. "If we overload the network, we can weaken them both." "How?" an engineer demanded. Elias turned, his voice sharp. "We need Shadow One to bait it into firing at full strength. Then we hit the core with everything we have." The plan was insane. The slightest mistake would mean disaster. But insanity was all humanity had left. Reyna sent the command. "Shadow One, make it chase you. Push it to fire all weapons." Kale grinned through the blood on his lip. "Finally, an order I like." He pulled his ship into a steep climb, darting across the stars like a black flame. The Guardian turned, its enormous cannons charging. It fired again and again, beams tearing through the void, each one narrowly missing Kale. To the aliens, this was a game of a predator toying with prey. To Kale, it was survival. Now, Elias, Reyna's voice thundered. On Earth, missiles and energy cannons roared from hidden launch sites. Their target was not the Guardian directly, but the energy relay that connected it to the flagship. A massive strike of firepower hit the relay station, sending shockwaves through the alien network. The Guardian shuddered. Its shields flickered, glowing unstable. For the first time, its armor showed cracks. Kale seized the moment. His weapons locked, and he fired a concentrated blast. The shot tore through the weakened shield, ripping across the Guardian's side. Explosions erupted, its engines flaring out of control. The giant ship bellowed like a wounded beast, spinning as parts of its hull tore away. But it wasn't destroyed yet. The alien commander's eyes narrowed. Unacceptable. Terminate the human. The Guardian unleashed everything. Beams, missiles, energy bursts. Space lit up like a storm. Kale's ship twisted, engines screaming, dodging through the chaos. One strike clipped his wing, throwing sparks across his controls. Warning lights filled his vision, but he kept flying. Come on, Kale whispered to his ship. Just a little more. With a final surge, he aimed straight at the Guardian's core. His ship roared forward, dodging one last beam, and fired his entire arsenal. The explosion was blinding. Fire and metal tore through the void. The Guardian split apart, fragments scattering like burning stars. On Earth, millions watching cheered. Across bunkers and cities, hope roared louder than fear. For the first time, the impossible had been done, an enemy titan had fallen. But inside the flagship, the alien commander did not flinch. His eyes burned cold, his voice steady. Then we move to Phase 3. Prepare the Annihilator. Back on Earth, Reyna's relief turned to dread as reports came in. The flagship was changing. Its massive structure shifted, panels sliding open to reveal a weapon unlike anything humanity had ever seen. A vast cannon, glowing brighter than the sun, charged at its center. Elias froze at the readings. That's not for cities, he whispered. That's for the planet. They're going to erase Earth in one shot. Reyna's heart pounded. Humanity had fought, bled, and won its first victories. But now the true danger revealed itself. The flagship's annihilator was aimed directly at Earth. Kale's ship drifted through the wreckage of the Guardian, his body bruised, his ship burning, but his spirit unbroken. He stared at the massive weapon forming in front of him. His hands trembled on the controls, but his voice was steady. If they want to erase us, he said, then they'll have to go through me first. The sky above Earth glowed like fire. The alien flagship's massive cannon, the Annihilator, hummed with a light that was almost unbearable to look at. Satellites detected its energy output, enough to vaporize the planet in moments. Humanity's hearts sank. Every human on Earth could feel the weight of that weapon, a single beam that could end everything. Inside the flagship, the alien commander watched coldly. They fought well, he said, almost amused. But this is their end. On Earth, Commander Reyna Malik stared at the holographic display, her fists clenched. We have to stop it, she whispered. Her officers nodded, fear in their eyes, but determination stronger. Elias, any ideas? Dr. Elias Varma ran simulations, his hands flying over controls. It's the Annihilator's energy core, he said. If we can disrupt it, even slightly, it could overload and destroy the entire ship. But the strike has to be precise. One wrong move, he didn't finish the sentence, but everyone knew the consequences. Kale's ship streaked through orbit, burning from the previous battle. Sparks flew from its hull, but Kale's eyes never left the flagship. Every ounce of training, every mission, every risk he had ever taken had led to this moment. The Annihilator's glow reflected in his visor, like a sun that wanted to swallow him whole. Control, I'm going in, Kale said, voice firm. No hesitation this time. Reyna's reply was sharp. You know the risk, Shadow One. Proceed with extreme caution. Kale didn't respond. Caution had been a luxury for a long time. As he approached the flagship, alien defenses swarmed. Smaller ships, energy turrets, and automated drones attacked in waves. Kale twisted, dodged, and fired, each second a blur of fire and light. The flagship's shields pulsed as energy beams struck, but his weapons began to find weak points, chipping away at the armor like a hammer on stone. On Earth, hidden launch stations prepared their own assault. Energy pulses, electromagnetic bombs, and concentrated missiles were aimed directly at the flagship's weak points, synchronized with Kale's strike. It was humanity's largest coordinated attack ever attempted, and the risk was unimaginable. Kale pushed forward, slipping between turrets and drones. The Annihilator loomed closer. Its light was blinding, its hum a sound that vibrated through the bones. He had only one chance. He locked onto the energy core, and with a deep breath, fired. The impact tore through the flagship's hull, sparks and fire erupting in a storm of destruction. Alarms screamed across the alien vessel. Its massive cannon faltered, energy surging uncontrollably. Elias watched the readings on Earth systems. "Now!" he shouted. The coordinated strike hit simultaneously, missiles exploding against weak points, electromagnetic pulses shaking the hull. Inside the flagship, chaos reigned. Alien soldiers scrambled to contain the damage, but the energy from the Annihilator began to destabilize. The massive cannon glowed brighter, shaking violently. The alien commander's face turned pale as he realized the weapon had turned against them. Back on Earth, cities trembled, people scattered, but hope burned brighter than fear. The first great attack against the Annihilator seemed to succeed. But the flagship's size meant it was far from destroyed. Kale's ship was battered, barely holding together, yet he refused to retreat. The alien commander roared, sending the last wave of defenders toward Kale. His ship dodged missiles, weaving through energy beams. Sparks flew, engines strained, but the pilot pushed forward. He had to get close. He had to ensure the Annihilator would never fire again. Suddenly, the flagship shuddered violently. Sections of armor exploded outward, energy beams tearing through the ship itself. The Annihilator's core was unstable, a ticking time bomb inside the enemy vessel. Kale's heart raced. Come on," he muttered. He maneuvered the ship toward the critical point, fired another concentrated blast, and finally, the core erupted in a blinding white explosion. The Annihilator's hum ended in a deafening roar. The flagship convulsed, panels tearing open, systems collapsing. Alien ships scattered, retreating in panic. The massive cannon, once ready to erase Earth, was destroyed in a single, desperate strike. On Earth, cheers erupted. People fell to their knees, tears streaming down faces. Humanity had survived the impossible. The alien fleet was in retreat. Victory had been claimed, but at a cost. Cities were in ruins, lives were lost, and the battle for survival was only beginning. Kale drifted through space, battered but alive. His ship systems warned of critical damage, but his eyes were fixed on the distant stars. The flagship had fallen, but somewhere out there, the rest of the fleet would regroup. And humanity would be ready. Commander Reyna Malik allowed herself a deep breath. She knew the war was far from over, but the first blow had been struck, and the galaxy had learned something important. Humans would fight. Humans would endure. Humans would never surrender. And somewhere, beyond the stars, a storm was rising. A storm that would carry humanity's wrath to every corner of the galaxy. The skies above Earth were quiet for the first time in days. Broken ships and debris floated across orbit, a reminder of the battle that had just passed. On the ground, cities were scarred, streets were cracked, and fires still burned. Humanity had survived, but the cost was heavy. Commander Reyna Malik stood on the roof of a damaged command center, overlooking the destruction. Her eyes were sharp, scanning for threats. The alien fleet had retreated for now, but she knew better. They were not gone. They were regrouping, planning their next strike. "Reyna, we've confirmed the flagship is destroyed," an officer reported. But scanners detect the rest of the fleet, still out there, regrouping at the edge of the system. Reyna's jaw tightened. "Then we prepare. Every ship, every soldier, every weapon. If they come back, we hit them first. Hard. Deep underground, Dr. Elias Varma studied alien technology recovered from the battlefield. His mind raced as he analyzed the remnants of the Annihilator. If we reverse engineer this, he whispered, we could strengthen Earth's defenses tenfold. Maybe even turn the tide permanently. Dr. Varma, one engineer said nervously, how much time do we have? The aliens could strike again at any moment. Elias's eyes were steady. Not long. But we have enough. If we act quickly, we can build something they'll never expect. Above the planet, Kale drifted through orbit in his damaged ship. Sparks flew from the hull, alarms blaring constantly. Every system was close to failure. But he refused to land. Not yet. Not until the alien fleet made their next move. His eyes scanned the dark expanse, searching for any sign of enemy ships. And then, far in the distance, faint lights flickered. Small ships, scouts. They were testing the perimeter, probing Earth's defenses. Kale's heart raced. The enemy was watching, learning. They were patient predators, waiting for the right moment to strike. Reyna, he said through comms, voice tense. They're back. Scouting. We need to be ready. She nodded. We are. Begin intercept. Take them out before they report back. Make them regret approaching our planet. Kale's ship surged forward, cutting through space with speed. Alien scouts tried to dodge, but he was faster, more agile. One by one, he destroyed them, each explosion lighting up the void. But for every ship destroyed, Kale knew more were watching. The main fleet would return soon. Back on Earth, the people worked tirelessly. Engineers repaired defenses, rebuilt energy grids, and prepared missile batteries. Soldiers trained relentlessly, knowing the aliens would come again, bigger and stronger. The planet was wounded, but it was alive. Reyna gathered her top commanders. They think they've broken us. They think we are weak. They are wrong. The galaxy may see humans as small, primitive, fragile, but we endure. We fight. And we strike harder than they can imagine. Her words spread like fire through the bases. Soldiers clenched fists, eyes burning with determination. The first battle had been terrifying, but humanity had survived. And that survival had given them something far stronger than technology or weapons. It had given them courage. Kale returned to Earth's surface, his ship barely holding together. People cheered as he landed. Children pointed at him, eyes wide with awe. Soldiers saluted. Humanity had a hero, but Kale knew the fight was far from over. In the shadows of space, the alien commander watched the planet through sensors. His expression was cold, but not worried. Humans, resilient as ever. But resilience can be broken. Prepare the next wave. This time, we end them for good. Earth trembled at the thought, but humans did not falter. Across cities, bunkers and hidden bases, one truth united them: they would not surrender. They had faced impossible odds, defeated titans, and survived weapons designed to erase them. And now, they were ready for the storm that was coming. The next battle would be bigger. The stakes would be higher. But humanity had learned a crucial lesson. Fear could not stop them, destruction could not break them, and no alien fleet, no matter how vast or powerful, could ever erase their will to survive. Kale looked up at the stars, hands on the controls of his damaged ship. Somewhere in the darkness, the enemy waited. And somewhere, humanity's future was being written in fire, courage, and defiance. Reyna stood beside him, her eyes on the horizon. "Let them come," she said quietly. "Earth is ready." The stars were calm, but Earth knew better. The alien fleet had returned, far larger, far stronger, and far more determined than before. The skies above the planet glowed with the engines of approaching ships. Cities braced, satellites locked targets, and soldiers readied every weapon ever built. Humanity was ready to fight, or die trying. Commander Reyna Malik stood in the central command tower, her gaze fixed on the display of incoming vessels. "This is it," she said, voice steady. All units report. Every ship, every missile, every soldier, Earth will not fall. From orbit, Kale's ship streaked through space, its hull battered from previous battles, but its engines burning bright. Around him, human fleets moved into formation. Earth's fleet had been rebuilt, upgraded with technology salvaged from previous encounters. Ships of every size, armed with weapons designed to strike terror into the enemy, formed a shining line against the darkness. The alien commander watched from his flagship, massive eyes narrowing. They fight too much. Crush them. Leave nothing alive. The first shots fired. Energy beams streaked across space, missiles streaking toward alien hulls. Explosions lit the void as ships collided in brilliant, deadly arcs of fire. Kale twisted his ship through the chaos, dodging blasts, striking at weak points, each shot precise and deadly. On Earth, the planet trembled as the alien fleet unleashed its weapons. Cities shook, mountains quaked, oceans churned. But human defenses were prepared. Countermeasures activated, laser turrets fired relentlessly, and hidden missiles tore through incoming vessels. Humanity was a storm of fire, resistance, and courage. Kale's eyes locked onto the alien flagship. Its hull was enormous, glimmering with power, weapons ready to obliterate the planet. He knew this was the key. If the flagship fell, the rest of the fleet would scatter. Shadow One, Reyna's voice crackled in his calm. We'll cover you. Strike with everything you've got. The galaxy is watching. Kale's hands tightened on the controls. His ship surged forward, faster than ever, weaving through the barrage of enemy fire. He dodged beams that could destroy continents, weaving like a shadow among giants. The flagship's weapons converged on him, but the human fleet drew their fire, giving Kale a clear path. With a deep breath, he fired his concentrated assault directly at the flagship's core. Energy ripped through the massive hull, sparks and explosions engulfing the alien vessel. The ship shuddered violently, systems failing, alarms screaming across the void. On Earth, humans watched as the flagship began to crumble. Cheers erupted, but Reyna did not relax. She knew the enemy was cunning. If one flagship fell, another might rise. They had to end this now. Kale pushed his ship closer, dodging falling debris and energy blasts. The flagship's core became unstable, glowing brighter and brighter, threatening to explode. Timing was everything. He fired a final shot into the core, synchronized with missiles launched from Earth's surface. The explosion was immense. Light filled space, burning brighter than a star. The flagship disintegrated, tearing the alien fleet into chaos. Smaller ships fled, their formations broken, their morale shattered. The human fleet pressed forward. Every strike, every missile, every ship added to the enemy's destruction. By the time the last alien ship tried to escape, the battlefield was a graveyard of fire and debris. Earth had won. Kale floated in orbit, battered but alive. His ship barely held together, but he did not care. He had done it. Humanity had faced the impossible, fought a fleet that seemed unstoppable, and survived. Back on Earth, people poured into the streets, cheering, crying, and embracing. Cities were damaged, lives were lost, but humanity had endured. Commander Reyna Malik looked out over the crowd, a small smile forming. They had faced extinction, and survived. They were stronger, braver, and unstoppable. Dr. Elias Varma joined her, pointing toward the stars. They'll remember this, he said softly. Every corner of the galaxy will remember what humans are capable of. Reyna nodded. They will. And if they ever return, humanity will be ready. Stronger than ever. United. Fierce. Kale landed, stepping onto the surface with dirt and smoke all around. Children ran to him, soldiers saluted, and ordinary people looked up in awe. They had a hero, but they also had a lesson. Survival, courage, and defiance were human traits no alien could destroy. Somewhere far beyond the stars, remnants of the alien fleet fled, silent and wary. They had learned something terrifying. Humans were not just a planet to conquer. Humans were a storm, a force that refused to bow, a species that fought until the end and then some. As the sun rose over a scarred but undefeated Earth, Kale and Reyna stood together, watching the horizon. The war had ended, for now, but the galaxy had witnessed a truth it would never forget: humanity would never surrender. The stars above seemed brighter than ever, as if the universe itself acknowledged the courage of one small blue planet. And from that day on, humanity's story spread across the galaxy. Fierce, unbroken, and unstoppable. Earth had fought the impossible, and won.